Welcome back to Co-working It. JP here. Woso boom.
I say Wilson.
Like, comment, and subscribe. It's March Madness time. We're in the midst of it right now. First and second round just ended. Sweet 16 is this weekend. Curious how much you've been paying attention this year.
Not much.
I've actually watched more than I thought it would, but normally I take off work, because I'm sick, in quotations, and like to watch the first round, but I'm glad I didn't because the first round was like historically trash this year between no upsets and basically no buzzer beaters. Now, I'm of the ilk that actually not a huge fan of the upsets because they feel good in the moment, but then they kind of ruin the next round where you get like Colgate and Colorado State and Sisters of the Poor playing against some top echelon ACC team. That's just boring to me. So give me the Blue Bloods. Give me the teams I know. I was going to say give me the players I know, but I don't know any of the players, and we're going to get to that at some point during this discussion.
It's weird because I know a few of the players, and
I'm learning some players, which is kind of cool.
I seen the Connecticut coach snapping. Those sore loser ass.
That's not breaking news. It's one of those like he's like, oh, it's okay when you win, you can act like that. I'm like, no, you were still an asshole, even when winning. It just looks better. But now when you're losing, and he's walking off the court saying, "Hope the refs don't do that to you, Baylor. Hope the refs don't do that." And then 20 minutes later, his press conference says that we went out in honor. Okay, that guy was almost a Laker coach.
Right though, that's your man.
Ooh, I wanted him so bad.
You did.
But we got the Duke star. Speaking of Duke, they look damn good.
Top to bottom.
Can't even their defense is unbelievable.
Because they tall. Bro, they all like kind of tall.
But they try. And like Cooper Flagg really tries on defense. He can move his feet when he wants to. And they can switch everything. So that's going to be an issue going forward for anyone that's playing him.
Then they got Proctor hitting threes. What is it, 7 for 8?
That dude, what the hell is that?
7 for 8? Like, Jesus.
And that's after he went, 5 of 6 the first round?
Yeah, he's smoking.
Man, some of those were heat checks that are not supposed to go in. Heat checks normally don't go in, and he had 3 of them. Now, you're kryptonite, though. You're playing a kryptonite.
Talk about old boy.
Caleb Love.
Yeah, hey, sure.
I'm just saying he's responsible for one of the worst losses in Duke history. So you need to get his ass back.
Yo, bro, we didn't have 3 of these dudes that's gonna be in the top 5 picks right now on our team. Maybe the top, not top 5, top 10. He didn't play against these 3 dudes.
he did go against Banchero though, he was good.
Who?
Banchero. That was the team that Caleb Love shot against.
Banchero been in the league 2 years.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Oh, don't tell me about some dude that's
he's still playing.
A junior, bro. Juniors don't matter to me in college basketball. it's like senior quarterbacks. Like, come on, bro.
That's another foreshadowing for this conversation. So I want to talk March Madness because a lot of people think it's the best tournament or it's the best time of the year. And as a kid, college basketball was, if not third, probably my second favorite sport growing up. There's something about it that I think a lot of it had to do with us playing basketball. But what's changed? Is it us? Is it the sport itself? Or is it the world? Ooh. Let's explore it.
It's more things. It's really more things to watch. And that notion of it's the best time of the year. I never felt that college basketball was the best time of the year. Like the best time of the year for me, like growing up, really was October for baseball and football towards the end. Like not really. Like football. Yeah, basketball. Yeah, college. The tournament did matter, but it's like me watching it growing up. I didn't see Duke win. We had good teams. What team I seen? I'm trying to think. I think I seen one championship win when I was young.
Okay, yeah, when you were young, they won in 2001. They won in 2001.
Yeah,
and then they had a long stretch. And
that's Jay Williams, right?
Yeah, and Battier.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That team. That's when I start. Like, remember I told you I came around sports 2000 99. Those the teams that I came to. So that's how I picked my team. So that was the team, and then we went on a stretch. Like my favorite Duke team is a team that didn't win. That's the one with JJ Redick, his senior year, I think.
Don't worry. Oh man, foreshadowing. We're getting there. His senior year team. Oh, I think he was on a better team that didn't win. But
Yeah, I ain't say didn't win. I
we'll
thought
get
like,
there.
but I
Yep.
thought like my favorite year, like anticipating everything.
Hmm.
That was like my year of college basketball.
That's fair. That was kind of I'm kind of with you that was kind of the crescendo for me of college basketball was that Reddick year because it
Yeah.
was Reddick versus Adam Morrison,
Mm-hmm. And I
and
hated Adam Morrison, bro.
you
It was
had
like, yo, he's gonna be trash in the league.
you had to pick one. Like you couldn't like them both. Now you could hate them both because a lot of people hate Duke, and I'm sure they hated that floppy haired dude from Gonzaga. But it just felt like if you were around a kid that time, you loved. I mean, they're both scoring 30 a game. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was, but like they was giving Adam Morrison too much hype for me, bro, back then. I'm
Come on.
like, yo, I'm like, yo, it's just like that. It's like the character. They find like he looked it like he couldn't hoop. He looked like he couldn't hoop.
But so the fact that he could
That's
hoop.
why everybody went to him because he could hoop. I'm like, yo, he's not gonna be that good in the next level, bro. I thought JJ was gonna be like a Hall of Famer. I ain't gonna lie.
Reddick still won that in the extra long term because now he's coaching the best team in basketball.
And he had a way better NFL, I mean NBA career.
Yeah, just not the one you expected. Kind of like had like a Reggie Bush kind of career where
No,
like he
don't, no, 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 no. Reggie Bush is not on JJ Redick when it comes to pro sports.
I don't know, man. Like
You
Bush
bugging.
is underrated. Like I'm just he didn't have you don't have the long durable career like an NBA player. But I'm just talking the hype, didn't live up to the hype, but won a championship and just kind of
I gotta take you out of there because Reggie Bush was a like a top draft pick.
Reddick was 6 overall.
That's six.
Bush was 2. I'm just saying.
Like, come on, bro. Like, it's not compared. And I think JJ Redick had a better career than him because like JJ averaged what 17, 18 points with the Clippers. Wasn't it like that with the Clippers? Yes, it was. Don't make
I
yeah.
don't think it was that high. Yeah, I don't think it was that high. I'm just gonna assume it wasn't and take a W here. 17 points.
18 points. That's for Philly.
Did he really?
18 for Philly, bro.
Props to Reddick. My bad. My bad.
Yeah. Reggie Bush ain't that.
But I'm saying, but Bush had some years where he was totaling like 13, 1400 yards because a lot of it was catches.
And there was yeah, and punt returns.
He's a specialty. You think Reddick was dominating on defense? Like, he's a 3-point specialist. That's cool.
Now don't hate on my boy. Don't do
I'm just
that. Not for a Trojan.
good point. Good point. Damn. Got me defending Reggie Bush, but he was that one player that even the Trojan man I couldn't hate on. Yeah, he was too good.
I
Too
could,
good.
I could, bro.
So what started happening? Adult life got in the way. I started working 2 jobs out of college. So either I was missing college basketball games because they'd always start at 7 o'clock, and the second round would always be 9 o'clock. And if I was working 2 jobs, I wasn't staying up till 11 o'clock anymore. Wasn't worth it. So that was part of it. You kind of referenced one at work the other day, and it definitely got added to my list. The significance of the regular season. Back in the day, it felt like every game. This is back when I was a Duke fan too, and an Ohio State fan. When they were top 5 teams, every game felt like it was the Super Bowl. Like you had to win that because if you didn't, the crowd was storming that court, and it was going to be the number one highlight on SportsCenter for a day and a half. It just became exhausting as a fan. Like it felt like I had to win every game to get a 1 seed. So every loss was demoralizing. And as I got older, I started realizing that there's really no difference between a 1 seed and a 3 seed. Like if you're good enough, you can have a couple bad games. You just got to get hot in March Madness, and you got to have the right matchups, and you got to stay healthy. But I just remember like losing to Wisconsin for a random reason against the Buckeyes, and I was just devastated for 2 days. Or when Duke lost to, I think it was Georgia Tech or Wake Forest, I was just like, I was mad all night. And then now I think back of it years later, I'm like, who cares? Oh, they fell from number 2 to number 4. But in that moment, it was devastating. And part of it is because when you're friends with other college basketball fans, you know the next day at school is going to suck. Kind of the same way we are now a little bit, but
that's I think that's a white thing. We didn't have that problem over
no.
there. Nah,
God, man,
we like black people like pro sports,
That's-
unless you're trying to get to college, and then you don't want to be the college star. You want to be the pro star. So like,
you got to get one or the other, unless you could just skip it, which we'll get to that at some point too. Conference realignment. I say breaking up the Big East. That was probably one of the most devastating things to happen in college basketball. The Big East was lit. Thinking about those years with UConn, Syracuse, Pitt, Villanova, Georgetown, Louisville, Notre Dame, Marquette, West Virginia. Like the Big East tournament starting at noon on a Wednesday while you're at school still, and like you're checking your old flip phone, trying to get ESPN.com on there to see the score, especially all the Syracuse fans around here. And then ending Saturday night, prime time in the Garden, the Big East logo there. It's just you had Dickie V, you had all the good announcers. There's something about it, man. I'm so nostalgic for it.
I'm sorry, I never watched the Big East tournament.
You are how?
Because bro, only time. Okay, I'm lying. Only time I watched the Big East tournament was when Carmelo Anthony played because they was talking about Carmelo the whole time. I never the Big East tournament. I watched Duke. I didn't watch I watched Duke and who played for Duke.
See,
until Carmelo got popping.
See, this is the difference. You didn't hate Syracuse like I did.
No,
I hate watch Syracuse. Like I would root for everybody in the Big East, and Notre Dame was in there too. Notre Dame never was prolific in the Big East. They always overachieved. Like Mike Bray was always up for Coach of the Year because he always had a middling team, but he was always winning more than he should. But not just enough to break my heart. We'd always get so close. Like we'd always make it to the semifinals in that tournament. And just remember, always just wanting that one chance on a Saturday night to win it all. Never get there.
Nah, it's only one team I really dislike, and that's North Carolina. And Wake Forest with Chris Paul.
Yeah, that week. Yeah, they had some squads back then.
No, it's not squads. Chris Paul. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech with Jaren Jack.
Man. Oh, now you're speaking my language. Mid 2000s random players. I love it. Jarrett Jack.
But Jarrett Jack got a good, solid NBA career.
But you didn't watch the UConn Syracuse game? They went 6 overtimes in the Big East tournament.
I just heard about it. It was on ESPN.
That's crazy.
It's on ESPN. ESPN was talking about it. I watched the highlights.
Man,
I'm not a Big East guy. I was mad when Syracuse joined the ACC, bro. It pissed me off.
Really? Because I'll admit I was wrong in the end, but the idea of Syracuse playing Duke and North Carolina intrigued me. Like having those home and homes. Like the first time Duke played Syracuse and they broke the record, that was awesome. And it went overtime. I think
the first one was overtime.
I'm gonna mess up his first name, but Rasheem Solomon. He hit that 3 to tie it. I remember that. That was crazy. And then the next game in Duke with the charge block call that Boeheim went nuts over and ripped the jacket off. And I'm like, yo, this is a new rivalry. This is cool. Just didn't last very long.
No, I just when they came, I didn't like it because they was acting like, oh yeah, the ACC Duke is in trouble and North Carolina in trouble. I was like, nah, they trash. y'all cheated for Fat Mello. Like, come on, bro. Like I'm forever.
So another reason college basketball fell off for me. This one is on the honesty test. My team started to suck. It happens. I stopped liking Duke as a team once Notre Dame joined the ACC because I realized I couldn't like two teams in the same conference. It was too weird. Duke was always kind of my bandwagon team anyways. And once they played each other, I realized I wanted Notre Dame to win. So I just dropped Duke. And I've had good stretches throughout the last 20 years of Ohio State Duke. Ohio State had Odin and Conley, and they had Solinger and Kraft for 2-3 years. And like D'Angelo Russell, a little bit here or there. and they made a Final Four. They were the best team one year. They didn't make the Final Four. Made it Elite Eight here or there, but they've fallen off the cliff. Notre Dame had a 2-year stretch where they made the Elite Eight 2 years in a row and almost beat undefeated Kentucky that year. Had a 3 at the buzzer to win, and that was awesome. They won the ACC that year. They beat Duke and Carolina back-to-back nights. Like that, I should have a banner up. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But that didn't last long either. So they both kind of suck. So I'll admit, man, if they were still really good, I might be a bigger fan. Not like I was back in my prime days, but if they suck, man, it's like my baseball team. Hey, when they're good, I'm watching. When they're not good, kind of like with the Cowboys this year. I don't think I'll be watching a lot. But you as a Duke fan, you don't really know what mediocrity is. I think the lowest seed you've ever been is a 6 seed that I can think of.
Yeah, but like, how can I explain it? Yeah, they was good, but they was good. Like, but like Zion, the only thing that made me want to watch Duke again. But like have to tune in to watch some dumb tournaments that they was in the beginning of the season with Kentucky and all that.
That's another thing. I hate those early season tournaments instead of those home and home games. You got all these great venues we talk about with college football. I hate not being in a stadium.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what brought me back. Not back, but like that would make me watch it, like want to watch.
But did you get into the Jahlil Okafor year? No?
He looked weird.
I know, but bro.
I followed, like I was like no, who else? My boy Bagley. Bagley, I watched his year, like his season. I like
was really good too. Yeah,
I watched Bagley play, and then it was Zion. Okafor, like I watched him play. I was like, but this is not fun to watch for me.
I don't know. He was a throwback where like back to the basket, and he was sneaky athletic. Like if you watch his highlight reel, like he's got his back to the basket at one moment, and then a split second, he's turned his hips and just flips it up for a layup. And I'd never seen that for a big man like that. And the TikTok I watched of that, the title says Steph Curry ruins Jahlil Okafor because the minute he got in the league, 3-point shooting takes off. This dude could not shoot anything past 12 feet, and he just got run out of the league.
Yeah, but it's not that. I don't think it's that. I think it's just that he was trash because you see DeAndre Jordan stayed in the league because he could play defense and he could jump.
That's fair. He wasn't a pick and roll guy. He was a legit straight 80s back to the basket, early 90s guy. He couldn't do pick and roll because he couldn't shoot, so there was no threat of a pop.
Oh no, he couldn't play pick and roll defense either.
Right?
That's what Jordan could do.
Yeah, but I'm saying there were guys that were really good back in the day that couldn't do any of that either. But if you just gave them the ball and they can go score 20 just because they had good post moves, which he did. And who else? Man, you had Tyus Jones as a freshman. Who was the kid that went to Miami? Winslow, right?
That's my guy too.
He was He was kind of the way Cam Reddish was on that Zion team.
Yeah.
He was like the guy where you're like, oh, he could be the highest ceiling in the NBA because of his game.
Winslow did play on the team with Okafor, right?
Yeah. That was the all freshman team.
I did watch that team, man. I did watch that team a little bit.
And who saved the championship game when you were down 8 against Wisconsin? The white boy, freshman. Talk about ended up staying 4 years. The Tripper.
My boy
Grayson Allen. Yeah, he saved that game. He won.
Bugging. I watched Grayson Allen senior year too. Whoever, that's my guy.
He was like the last hated Duke white guy because he would trip guys. It was like, what are you doing?
Grayson Allen's my guy, bro. I forgot about Grayson Allen senior year. It's like, let's say sparingly. I watched them like certain years because I don't know why I thought Grayson Allen was gonna be legit in the league.
Considering
he still is, he's in there.
Yeah, he's still hanging. All right, one and dones, transfer portal, and NIL kind of grouped it all together. All right, don't get me wrong. There have been players that have been so great that they were appointment viewing, and you name one of them, Zion. But you throw Kevin Durant, Michael Beasley, Kyrie, Jabari Parker, Anthony Davis, and then I wrote Zion last. Zion was that one dude where it's like, even my wife heard about him and wanted to watch him. And of course, the first time she watches him, he blows out his shoe against Carolina,
Mhm.
which sucked. That hype for that
I
game.
think Cat is in there too.
Yeah, but he was part of, I don't know. He was part of the undefeated Kentucky team.
He was nice.
He kind of more blended in with that great squad. Now, don't get me wrong, he was their best player, but he didn't really command the ball a lot. He just kind of did everything right, which is why they were so great. He kind of
Mhm.
actually did fit in with them. But I don't know, man. I just miss the days of turning on a game and knowing 2 to 3 players on each team. I just don't know it anymore. You got to really follow recruiting to do it. And it's like by the time you get to know a guy, he's off to the league.
But see, I'm not into college basketball like that. But I know more college players than you because I know about the high school guys.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like I like the high school guys is what I'll be looking at, and like I know what colleges they're going to, so I know they're gonna play and see which one I want to go see. Like Zion was on the internet before he went to Duke, so
Yes.
it's like okay, I wanted he went to Duke. Okay, we got two of the other two top players. I'm watching Duke this year. That's how I got to see Duke because just like Chet, you see him in high school. It's like all these dudes I'm watching them in high school, and you pick like okay, I want to go see them play in the league. I
Cooper
mean,
Flag. Cooper
college.
Flag's
Cooper
another
Flag
one
is
where
another one.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those guys.
You're right. The high school AAU mixtapes now are big.
Yeah.
And it does like, hey, where's he going to go to college?
No, bro. It's not this mixtape, bro. They got the AAU games on YouTube. You can watch them.
That's crazy.
You can watch them. You see this one big kid that's playing point guard or something, that's bigger than everybody else. You're like, yo, he's the center on this team, but on offense, he's the point guard. Like Gilbert Arenas' son. He's bigger than everybody on his high school team. He got the ball in his hand the whole time.
So what about the transfer portal? Because I think this one hurts a lot with not great teams, but maybe like the 20 to 30 range teams where it's like, man, they got a couple guys that, man, if they all come back next year, they're going to be really good. And then 2 of them just transfer out to a better NIL, better family situation. I get it, but
But I
it
think
does,
that
it hurts the sport.
well, they should stop hurting the kids. Like, bro, who if you want to transfer, it's because some of these kids get promised the playtime, and then you realize you get there, then boom, you're never getting on the court, bro. But I don't think it. I, I
Those aren't the guys I'm talking about, though.
I think it's bigger in football than basketball, and it doesn't affect football. So that's like transfer portal ain't it because that make more parity. Think about it. Like if you got these good players that want to, right? Don't it create more parity?
That's fair, but parity's overrated.
Mm-mm.
I want great teams.
Yeah, you get a great team when you could like say who did the kid that just went to Florida? Look at they just lost Cam Ward, now they got a star quarterback again. What, Carson Beck?
Yeah, it's Miami.
Yeah. I said Florida. Yeah, Miami. So like I think it's cool.
Yeah. That's just you can't recruit. That's just admitting you can't recruit. You got to 2 years in a row get a transfer quarterback.
That's recruiting.
Okay, how about the fact that I just stopped playing basketball? This is another personal reason. I can't really make sense of it because it's not like I ever played football growing up, other than like out in the backyard. And I still watch college football to death and the NFL till 1 o'clock in the morning. But for some reason, it's like the minute I stopped playing basketball about 7, 8 years ago, I feel like that kind of coincides with college basketball. I don't know if it's because as a kid, I know you said the goal is the dream is to play in the NBA. But for us that watched a lot of college basketball, was like, man, I want to play in those kind of games. I want to play at that school. I want to play in those kind of environments.
White kids.
Well, yeah, man, we couldn't just go right to the NBA. We had to go to college for 4 years.
So we didn't want to be in another classroom. They're hard already.
Hey, if you go to certain schools, you don't got to worry about that.
That's a fact. Fat mellow.
I know I was going to say the South, but man, Syracuse is right down the 90.
Nah, bro, The main reason we both know why we don't watch college basketball no more. Because
What
I
is it?
could tell you what would make you turn college basketball back on right now. Get rid of Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and all those streaming services. We back to watching college basketball. I promise you.
Oh, this is good. Hot take. This is good.
We're back to watching college basketball if you get rid of all the streaming services. The streaming services is what took over everyone's time. And then when we used to watch this junk, we didn't have Facebook and stuff. Our phones wasn't as advanced. Like they started a little bit, like a little older. Yeah, we a little bit. So I'm gonna take the phones out. But the TVs, bro, our time to watch stuff. We watch movies on our channel.
There are so many options every night. Whatever you want.
TV shows.
Yep, movies. Everything. You have 16 different platforms. And the idea of just turning on ESPN to watch a basketball game,
college basketball game.
Yeah, in the middle of January, you know what I mean? Like it's just
and that's what the NBA problem is also, bro. It's the same thing. Football is weekly. Like weekly.
You get one a week. One.
And it's worth turning on.
I mean, that's been the argument for baseball, 162 games that talk about the complete other spectrum. You knock that down I'm saying, but if you knock that down to 82, all of a sudden that seems better. If you knock the NBA down to 46, it just make every game a little more important.
See, NBA is different to me because they've been their money been going up. So maybe their ratings on TV is going down, but their fan attendance is there.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of like smart podcasts about this where the ratings basically for all sports now, it's worthless when it comes to how well they're doing as a sport.
Yeah.
It just doesn't mean anything. It's all about the contracts. And as long as they're getting paid contracts through their local affiliates, they don't care what the rating. TNT doesn't care what only 1.2 million watch compared to 6 million 10 years ago. They don't care. They're still printing more money than they did back then.
And the thing is, too, is that's why they're trying to get these games on certain streaming platforms. Because now you see, because everyone knows the streaming platforms took everyone's attention. So now you got to get this basketball, this football, you got to get them on Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max got NBA games. So you have to put it up there so you can see it at the top. So the Lakers playing the Bucks? Boom. Let me play or watch that.
Disney Plus had the first Luka game for the Lakers.
I forgot about they got on ABC.
Yeah. But that wasn't planned. They just were like, oh, everyone's going to want to watch this 10:30 at night. Let's put it on.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, I thought when I got rid of YouTube TV a couple months ago, the one thing I first thought about was like, man, I'm not going to be able to watch any March Madness. But as we're talking about it, it's like, I'll survive because I'm not that into it. And then I go on Max on Wednesday and I see them promoting it. I'm like, oh my God, I can watch them all. Everything but the CBS games.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, there you go. Like
CBS games, bro. I got an antenna. I'm watching if I want to watch it.
Me too. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think the sport got super worse than what we think it is. We could judge it compared to what we used to watch.
I think it's changed. What you're saying is right. I think it's changed. It's just then it's an opinion on whether you think it's worse or not. That's fair.
Yeah, it's because like the old football players don't like how the game changed, like how it is now.
Oh, you're saying I need to get off my own lawn?
Yeah, like bro, if you want to watch it. Stop watching movies, and then we won't have a channel.
I don't know any of the players. Who are these guys? Ah!
If you watched, you would know. Just like you know these actors.
All right, so you say it's the streaming. My final reason, I think it's the right one. Let's be honest. It's the shorts. I need them back down to the kneecaps. Go watch Evan Turner hit a game winner against Michigan, and you won't see his ankles. When did we decide the shorts are coming up, way back up, like Larry Bird? What are we doing?
I can't hate on it because, bro, you were. I know. Okay, I don't know if you knew how to dribble between your legs, but like when you dribble, bro. Imagine if I got to play with these shorts. I would be nice.
No, see, that hurts your argument. The fact that I had to dribble through my legs and my shorts made me better.
So imagine Iverson get to play with Kyrie Irving shorts. It
I don't know, man. I don't think you'd like it.
was LeBron.
I think it was just became a trend of having good
LeBron.
looking thighs, like muscular thighs, and you're like,
Oh,
I want to
tattoos.
show them. I want to show them off.
Tattoos.
Mm,
Tattoo era. This new generation is all tatted up, and their legs. They want to show off their legs like little bad bitches. These sassy ass niggas. Yo.
All right, so again, I'm craving the nostalgia of what I grew up on. Top 5 college basketball nostalgic teams of my life, and they didn't win the national championship. Big difference. Now, I didn't do a top 5 as in like who were the 5 best teams. I kind of went in order of descending years, so like a little older to more newer. But again, these are all probably within like a 6-year gap because that was my prime time of it. So the first one, OLI, 2004 Oklahoma State Sooners. This was this random team that I just fell in love with. I think in the bracket the year
Oklahoma
before.
State Sooners, that don't go together.
Oh, I actually wrote that. Man, that's a loserdom on me. The Cowboys, Oklahoma State. Man, my bad. I know it's a rivalry. Man, my bad. Oklahoma State Cowboys. I think it's because the year before I picked them in my bracket to make the Final Four, and then they did. So I kind of just followed them. And they had John Lucas III, Joey and Stephen Graham, Ivan McFarland, and James Curry. Any of that ring a bell?
I remember that whole team.
And I love that team.
So you said James Lucas III.
So that team, along with another one I'm about to talk about, they made the Final Four against Georgia Tech and Jarrett Jack, who you brought up, and the heartbreak of that game.
Ought to be thinking too. There's plenty of time here to drive. Well, here you go for the tie. Got it! Yes, again! It's John Lucas with the clutch three. With 5 seconds, it's Bynum. Fakes outside, drives in, 3 seconds. Bynum! Oh! Yes, with 1 it's time. Lucas launches. No!
Heartbreaking. And another team that made that Final Four is my first team to talk about. Your 2004 Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, boy.
Chris Duhon, Luau
Yes.
Deng, J.J. Redick, Sheldon Williams, Sean Dockery, Daniel Ewing, Shelvick Randolph, and Lee Melchione.
Bro, that team was lit. Duhon, I had a love-hate relationship with Duhon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Sometimes he annoyed me, bro. I don't know why. I was like, sometimes it looked like he ain't try hard or something.
Because he wasn't a straight bucket getter. He couldn't create his own shot, really. He was just very savvy as a point guard.
Yeah.
But he had that reverse layup to beat Carolina the first time that it was Roy Williams versus Coach K. I remember staying up and watching that. And Carolina comes down, ties the game. Crowd's going bananas.
One guy you got to try to find. Gets it off. Ties with 2 in the last minute. 27 for McCants. Duhon. Right drive by Duhon. Here comes Felton. 4 seconds to go. Can they win it? Oh, what a game. Unbelievable.
Back in the days when you didn't have to call 16 timeouts.
Oh, man.
Great game. Oh, that Duke team was loaded. And who did they lose to? UConn in the Final Four. Emeka Okafor and Ben Gordon. That game pissed me off so much. Again, I
don't like Ben Gordon and Kemba Walker. I like neither one of them two.
Now, the only reason I think it was close because I remember Okafor got in foul trouble early. He basically sat the whole first half, and Duke built this lead, and then Okafor and them just chased them down and won it in the end.
I hated Okafor, bro. Because that next shit, that draft is Okafor. What's his name? The point guard, Ben Gordon. That's all of them get drafted. That draft is, and JJ stays.
Yeah, Redick was only a sophomore that year.
Yeah. Like that, most of them teams, like of the good players of those two teams, was in that draft. Like Duhon and all of them left.
Yep. But I think that Luau Deng, they don't get talked. He doesn't get talked about enough. He was out of nowhere, a great freshman. and he was the first freshman to leave Coach K as a freshman, and it
Yeah.
broke his heart.
Because Lou Ordain, bro, that hurt me. Like I thought it was coming back with Lou Ordain. We have already. We losing Duhan.
But
Man.
Sheldon Williams, you Daniel Ewing, Dockery, like you were reloading, and Dang
Yeah.
was really going to be your best player.
He was that dude.
He was a matchup problem. Second team, 2005 Illinois Fighting Illini.
Oh, Darren Williams in him.
Yeah,
And, Brown.
keep going. Luther Head, James Augustine, Roger Powell Jr., and Rich
Augustine
McBride.
is on that team.
That team,
God.
that team only lost one game all regular season. Who was it to? Ohio State. Let's go.
They need a 2 to tie, a 3 will win it. Sylvester for 3! Oh! With 5.1 to go! Williams. Luther Head. Here's Paul. Air ball! And it's over! Ohio State has shocked the nation!
Look up that game. Hit a 3 with 8 seconds to go to take the lead. And Ohio State was under probationary at that time, so they couldn't make the tournament anyways. So that was their Super Bowl. But they knocked them off undefeated. Illinois makes a crazy comeback against Arizona in the Elite Eight. And then
who they played in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, it was Arizona. And then they ran into what I still think is probably one of the best national championship games of all time against Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina won. They had.
That's Sean May. That's McCants.
I was just about to say McCants and
Felton and Marvin Williams. Like that
squad.
But think about that championship game. Like that's loaded talent. And it lived up to it. It was a 5-point game. This not scoring, I think it was low scoring, like 75-70, but it was one of those like I'm only 14. I'd watched Syracuse win the year before. I'd seen Duke win, but like for whatever reason, that game felt like a moment where I'm like, we're clearly watching the two best teams in basketball. I'm a kid, bright lights. It's a close game. I remember like feeling like nervous. I wasn't even really rooting against Carolina because I didn't like them, but I didn't like Illinois either. Just kind of sat back. I'm like, man, this is two great teams. Don't get that anymore.
I rooted for him because Darren Williams, because that was like, who was Darren Williams' competition in the league? You had to pick Chris Paul. Bro, Darren Williams is my guy. I was like, yo, he's 10 times better than Chris Paul. Don't even mention him in the same breath. I swear.
I'm with you. Now, I mean, we were right for a little bit.
He was right for a while, bro. He was giving Kobe and them some headaches. Them Utah teams used to give y'all some challenges, bro.
He was a pain. Oh, no, that was before like we got Gasol. So they were really giving it to us. We weren't better than them.
Yeah, AK-47. It was snapping on y'all.
It was Utah and Phoenix and San Antonio around that time battling it out. And Utah could never get past them both.
Nope.
2006 UConn Huskies. Jeff Adrian, Rashad Anderson, Hilton Armstrong, Josh Boone, Marcus Williams, and Rudy Gay. This one might be the most talented team to not win the championship for me when I'm looking back.
I don't know none of them dudes except for my boy Rudy.
Really? Man, that they were the number 1 seed, overall seed. They're playing George Mason to go to the Final Four, and it's one of the all-time upsets.
George Mason beat them. I remember when George Mason upset them dudes.
Jim Larinaga in overtime too. Like they got him to overtime, and then they still found a way to win. But no, man, if you didn't watch them, you don't know. It was like having like 6-7 footers out there. They were so athletic and tall. It's like, how did anyone score on them? Like their guards were 6'4" and 6'5". It was ridiculous. And then you got Rudy Gay, who's just the scorer. But they just are such a great team all year, and it's an all-time choke. It really is. You can't lose to George Mason like that.
That was them that lost to George Mason. Okay, I remember that.
Tough one. Tough. 2009 Pitt Panthers. Oh, this one gets to me. Levance Fields, DeJuan Blair, Gilbert Brown, Jermaine Dixon, Ashton Gibbs, Sam Young, and Brad Wanamaker. Oh,
Wanamaker.
What a squad.
I know Wanamaker and I know Blair. So I watched that team. I had to watch that team. I
That
had
team
to
was
watch
so tough. Jamie Dixon was the coach, man, hard-nosed coach. And he just, man, like I remember they played Duke in the beginning of the year, I think at Madison Square Garden. I think Fields hit a game winner. And I'm like, my God. And Duke was pretty good that year, but I'm like, they play football. They are such bullies. And it was so much fun to watch. And that was a loaded year because you had them, you had UConn with Hashim Thabit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to remember the other guys on that team. There had to be more because Thabit wasn't like a dominating player. He was just the defense, but they were still really good. And then you had the Carolina team that won the championship with Hansborough and all them. So those three teams were the best teams all year. And who upset them in the Elite Eight? Freaking Villanova. A young Jay Wright
Ballhead dude was on that team.
for that's no, I just blanked because I didn't write it down because I'm like, I'll remember it.
The Winfield dude.
Kyle Lowry. Lowry's on that team.
Not just Lowry. What's his name? The ballhead dude that looked like Ryan Shazier.
For Villanova?
Yeah. He looked like he mad light skinned ballhead like he don't got no eyebrows.
But it was the third time that they were playing each other.
Mm.
So Pitt beat him in the regular season. He beat him in the Big East championship or in the tournament. I don't know if it was the championship. And then third time in the Elite Eight. And what's the old adage? It's hard to beat a team three times.
Yes, sir.
Nova got him. And it broke my heart because it was going to set up Pitt and UConn and Carolina in the Final Four. And then Michigan State upsets UConn. And then Carolina gets to basically waltz their way to a championship. I hated that.
Charlie Villanueva.
Oh,
He not on that team?
no.
Who he played for?
He was UConn, but
UConn. He played for UConn. What?
I don't know what
team.
year.
The blue team.
Was Villanueva part of that? Was he part of the Ben Gordon year?
Yes,
He was.
he was part of Ben Gordon.
Yeah.
I knew. I thought. I knew it was
God,
a blue team.
that's right.
I was the blue team.
It was him and Okafor. That Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
He on that team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm cheating for my last nostalgia team. It's the 2008 Final Four. The first year that all the number one seeds made it.
Oh, I remember that year.
This was hyped. First, we got UCLA, Darren Collison, Kevin Love, Luke, Richard, Mbah Amate, and Russell Westbrook.
You don't say my boy last.
Best for last. I give it to him. That is a loaded team who got their ass smoked by Memphis, who had Derrick Rose, Sean Taggart, Robert Tank Dozier, Joey Dorsey, and Chris Douglas Roberts. All these names. See, now I'm getting you. And then we go to North Carolina. Wayne Ellington, Marcus Ginyard, Danny Green, Tyler Hansborough, and Ty Lawson. Holy shit.
I knew Danny Green with there. I didn't know he played with Hansborough.
Mm-hmm. And they all came back to win the next year.
Yeah.
So this was but this team was down 40-12 to Kansas in that semifinal, and they actually came all the way back and almost made, and was like down 4 with like 2 minutes to go.
Kansas had Mario Chalmers.
And we'll go to Kansas, who won the championship that year. Cole Aldridge, Darrell Arthur, Mario Chalmers, Sherrod Collins, Darnell Jackson, and Brandon Rush. What a Final Four. Oh, my God.
Bruh.
And it all ends in Derrick Rose and Chris Douglas Roberts each missing a free throw. Chalmers hits a 3 to go to overtime, and they win the championship. Crazy.
That was the tournament that got all them dudes drafted. Like really, Russ came back. No, did Russ come back?
No, he didn't.
Russ left with Love. Yeah,
yep.
That was Love freshman year. That was Russ sophomore year. Yeah, and Collison wasn't he there for like 3 years or some junk?
Collison was there for 16 years.
Yeah, I feel like Collison played for a long time.
I'm pretty sure he was part of all 3 Final Four teams. UCLA made 3 straight Final Fours. They just never made it.
Yeah,
they never won it because they lost to Florida. They lost to that year. They lost to Memphis. I forget who the third time they lost, but yeah, they can never get over the hump.
Yeah, because they had because Collison when Russ came, Russ was on the bench, and Collison got injured. And the second year, that's how Russ ended up becoming like a starter, a 3-and-D player, bro. That's what he was in college. Yo,
The most athletic point guard of all time was a 3-and-D player. See, college basketball is weird.
give the ball to Kevin Love and let it
Yeah, man, that might be my high point for college basketball. That 2008 Final Four, which really the games weren't that great, at least initially, but the players, man, when you got all the number one seeds and all those players, you just knew because a lot of those guys were 3 and 4 year seniors, and then you throw in the ultra uber talented freshmen. That's when that works. Like with your Duke team, with Singler and Shire and Nolan Smith, like they win the championship. And then the next year they all come back and here's Kyrie Irving. Like that's that kind of shit that college basketball is missing. Instead of all of them leaving and then it's a whole new team and they might be really good, but
it's kind of like us this year.
Yeah, I feel like, man, a couple of you guys could stick around and you're going to bring in more. That's also part of the issue now with like the Dukes and the Kansases where like you're recruiting these guys you expect to be one and done. So then you're recruiting the next cycle, being like, hey, they're going to be gone. You're going to have a starting spot. But if they stay,
hey, you fuck.
It's hurting. It's hurting, or it's hurting your recruit's just not going to go there. They're going to go, I'm going to go to your rival and start. It's tough.
Calipari had it great. You could be on the bench, you're still going to draft in the first round. Devin Booker didn't start. He didn't start. He got drafted in the first round. Like Shea, like all these dudes.
Booker.
Come here and
Booker.
We get you.
Booker didn't even start in that undefeated team.
Off the bench.
And he was drafted 6th or 7th? Jesus.
Bro, like, come on, man. Like, that's how you gotta want to get there and play because you gotta know you ain't an NBA scout don't need a college player scoring 20. They just need him to score 10.
And just show the promise.
Yep.
Because that's all the lottery is the ceiling.
Upside. You just gotta be young and look like you could be something.
Yeah, because if you could be scoring 25 points, but if you're a junior or senior, nah.
You still get drafted in the second round.
Yep.
Zach Edey got lucky because he's 7 foot.
Not 7 foot, 7'6".
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
7 foot, he would have been in the second round. You're right.
If he's lucky. I mean, you got to remember, Johnny Flynn was drafted over Steph Curry.
No, that's just dummies. I never thought Johnny Flynn was lit, bro. He was trash in Syracuse.
No, see that? No, he was good in Syracuse.
I hate that headband dude. Fuck out of here. Him and Warwick. I don't like Warwick either.
Oh, you don't like headbands? That orange. It's the orange. It's ugly.
Orange.
It's an ugly color.
Melo the only one that made that shit look alright, man. Because he had the white headband. Man,
there were some Syracuse players that talk about hating. Devendorf, remember that dude?
I remember him.
He was JJ Redick light because he was cocky, but he wasn't as good as him. But he had all the tattoos, and he would talk shit.
JJ Redick light.
I always called him that. People hated that around here.
That is fucking hilarious.
Remember Scoop Jardine?
No, I don't remember him.
So that's going a little later. That's when Ohio State beat them in the Elite Eight. Talk about a moment. Sullinger and Kraft beating Syracuse in the Elite Eight. Oh, yeah. I was on cloud 9. I miss those teams. I miss good college basketball.
That's I miss. You right. It's the Final Four. Like that Final Four you just described, and my boys was even in there, and I was lit. Like that. That's the year I became a Westbrook fan. That year in college, because he used to come down and just like he was just dog. I'm like, who the f- is this slow ass dude?